beauty doesn't have to come at the cost of leaving you with bald spots or losing something as beautiful and delicate as your edges. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Aluchi Caroline, and over here we keep it real with natural hair. Now, on today's episode of Keeping It Real with Natural Hair, we're going to be talking about protective styles and destructive styles. Now, there are lots of hairstyles out there that are termed protective, while in an actual sense, when you really think about it, you see that they are actually destructive. Now, before we get into that, what are protective styles? Protective styles, just like the names, are those styles that have been designed and created to protect your scalp, to protect your hair, to protect your ends from situations and conditions like breakage, split ends, over manipulation, and whatever, or even harsh weather conditions, right? These are protective styles. Now, what are the qualities of good protective hairstyle? Now, the first quality of a good protective style is length retention. If it's not helping you to retain length, it is not a good protective style for you. It is not the style for you. A good protective style should be able to keep your hair tucked in, should be able to help you retain length, should be able to help you see the growth the length you've grown. That is the quality of a good protective style. So protective styles are not involved in hair loss, hair breakage, a lot of tension on your scalp, pain, and all of that. That is not the style for you. That is not the protective style you should be wearing. Now, one of my favorite qualities of a proper protective style is that it is scalp friendly. It does not require like all those pulling and tightening. They'll tell you, oh, tighten it so it can last. It's natural hair, so you need to tighten it so it can last. It's all lies. It's a lie. You don't need to torture your scalp because you're trying to put it in a protective style. What you're doing is actually the opposite of what it is meant to do. Now, your scalp does not need to feel like it is on fire. Your scalp does not need to be burning before you know, oh, yes, you've done it right. No, my dear, no. It might actually just be destroying everything at this point. So protective styles are known to be scalp friendly. You see those tiny bumps and tiny soles in your hair after making your hair? They are not good. They are not proper protective style material. Okay, so if the person that is making your hair is making it too tight, speak up. And so that some of us cannot even speak up in the hair salon. My sister, you have to actually like speak up on these things. Talk. Let them reduce it. Let them know it's hurting. Let them know your scalp is on fire. Let them reduce it. That is what makes protective style protective style. Your scalp, it needs to be friendly on your scalp. It doesn't need to feel like torture on your scalp. Now that we've settled with protective style, what are destructive styles? You know everything I've said about protective styles? Destructive styles are like the total opposite. There are those styles that your hair hates to see coming. There are those styles that your scalp does not even want to see them coming close at all. There are those styles that you shouldn't be putting on your hair, that you should not be, torturing your scalp with. Now, there are instances and there are cases where a properly installed and a properly well-made protective style can turn destructive. And what are the things that turn protective styles to destructive style? The very first thing is neglect. Now, because your hair is in protective style does not mean you should just go about neglecting it. You don't wash it, you don't deep condition it, you don't moisturize it. Dry hair in whatever form, whether your hair is out, whether your hair is in any protective style, once your hair is constantly dry, once your hair is constantly brittle, once your hair is always dirty, it is going to damage your hair. Another form of neglect that might damage your protective style is when you leave your protective styles in for way too long. I've seen people say they left their protective style, their cornrows, their twists for 3 months, 7 months, 10 months. Why? It's totally unnecessary. And then notice that when they start taking it down, they lose so much hair. I mean, why not? Why not? First of all, some of them don't even wash this hair. Some of them don't even moisturize. Some of them don't even deep condition it. Now, the ideal time period to leave your protective style in is usually between 6 weeks to 8 weeks. That is perfect. But anything above that is a stretch. Anything above that, you're doing too much. Anything above that, you're trying to damage your hair. Anything above that, you're turning your protective style to a destructive style. Now, another thing that can turn a protective style into a destructive style is a lot of tension, a lot of tightness and tension on your scalp. Now, using a cornrow as an example of protective style, when you're making the cornrows and then you made it too tight, that your scalp starts burning, you start having headache. It defies the purpose of protective styling. Now you see those hairs are when you make and then they start pulling from the roots. That is the first sign of destruction. That is the first sign that your hair, that hair you just made, is a destructive hairstyle. Okay, so when it feels like your scalp is burning, when it feels like your scalp hurts, like the headache, the migraines, because you made just simple cornrows, take it out. Please take it out for the sake of your hair, for the sake of your scalp. Now, what are the signs of destructive hairstyle? The first thing you'll notice in a destructive style is the pain, the tension. When it hurts too much, you don't need it. When it starts burning, it's not a style for you. So that is the very first sign of a destructive style. Another sign of destructive hairstyle is hair breakage, hair thinning. Your hairline start going inside, you start losing your edges, your hairline start receding. You've been making a destructive hairstyle, it's not protective. Okay, so you have to be very cautious of this thing. When your hair and your edges start lifting from this root or from here, then they are destroying your hair, they're destroying your edges, they're destroying your scalp. Now, breakage, brittleness, dryness, all of these things involved are signs of destructive styles. Now, how do you keep that properly installed protective style, a perfect protective style? How do you keep it protective? First things first, you have to constantly wash that hair and keep it clean. Whether your hair is in cornrows, whether your hair is in twist, whether your hair is in braids, you have to find a way to always keep your scalp clean. Your scalp is like the bedroot of growth. So when your scalp is clogged, when your scalp is always dirty, your hair is going to be affected in a negative way. Another way to keep your protective style protecting or protected is to avoid tight hairstyles. Avoid too many tension on your hair. Avoid too many tension on your scalp. If it starts to hurt in the salon, talk. Open your mouth and talk. You're paying for the service. You have the right to tell them, "Oh, this is beginning to hurt. Make it less tight, or just loosen it up." Okay, so when it starts to hurt, it doesn't belong to you. You do not belong there. So avoid tight hairstyles. That is another way. Now, another tip to keep your hair protected is to moisturize before installation and after installation. Like while you still have that protective style on, make sure it never gets dry. Make sure you're constantly moisturizing your hair. Another thing you have to do to keep that perfect protective style what it should be is to not leave in for so long. 6 to 8 weeks is ideal. So if you're going to leave for 4 months, for 7 months, you're doing the direct opposite. You're giving it you're giving it to the liberty to be the direct opposite of what it should be. So do not leave in your protective style for too long. Now, another way to keep your hair protected is to not repeat the same style over and over and over again. Now, I have this bun right now. If I keep doing this particular bun every day, every week, it's going to start affecting my edges. My hairline is going to start receding. Now, what am I going to do? It's in this up bun now, right? Tomorrow, I might just put it in the center part. You need to rotate your hairstyle. You don't need to keep doing a particular hairstyle over and over again. The last but not the least is to reduce the tension on the very most delicate part of your hair, which are usually like your edges, your hairline, and then the ends of your hair. So do not put a lot of tension on this delicate part because they're going to break off easily. Edges are one of the most difficult things to regrow. So it's better you don't lose them at all than finding out what it feels like to regrow those edges. I mean, beauty doesn't have to come at the cost of you breaking off your hair, of you losing your hair, losing your edges, living with bald spots. If it's not protective, it is not worth it. So I hope you're making the right decisions today, and I hope they are pulling you towards the protective style. If you have any other thing you think I missed or I did not touch on, you can also drop them in the comment section. If you have questions, you can drop them in the comment section. If you found this video really helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down there in the comment section. Share to people you think might need this video. Subscribe to me if you've not yet subscribed already. And yeah, I'm going to see you guys in my next one. Bye.